Julia Jordan, your favorite real estate agent out of my home office. Outside it is thunderstorming and raining. I hope we don't lose connection. But I wanted to share with you 10 things that can kill the deal per my latest email that I just received from here, my real estate agent updating. You know, we get a lot of stuff via email. Number one is financing. Not everybody is fully vetted. Not all the buyers that are fully vetted are fully underwritten. So this can make the deal fall apart. What you need is a listing agent that knows how to look at a pre-approval letter, how to reach out to the lender, and to ensure that the buyer on the other side, who's represented to their agent most of the time, that they're actually able to close on this deal, even with little changes in interest rates or maybe insurance. All of those things are not clear. Number two, that's already our second point, insurance. Not all the properties are insurable. Some areas in Houston area flooded many times. Flood insurance is outrageous expensive, and I just recently encountered a listing that is not even to be built on. There is a lot, and it flooded so many times that the city is actually buying it back. But in the same neighborhood are other lots listed for sale, presented in a way that people want to buy it to build on, but it's actually not possible due to insurance and due to flooding or tornadoes or other things like hurricanes coming through, and the insurance simply doesn't insure it, or it is outrageous expensive. For example, Texas City, we had properties there recently in showings, and all of a sudden you pay like 10K a year for insurance because it's so close to the coast. Inspection. Not every home buyer has the money left after paying for closing costs, down payment, to fix up especially big ticket items. They say here, roof, HVAC, water heater, termite damage. So if you have the ability to put a house on the market that is ready to go, good for you. Probably you will get top dollar. You will say, Julia, I don't have the money to do so. Guess what? I work with vendors that fix up your house before closing, so your house will be in tip-top shape. And let's say carpet or paint are such quick and easy fix-ups, and you get more than your money back what you spend for it in closing. Also, your house presents better, you probably have more offers, and the house sells faster. So there are a lot of reasons why you want to fix up your house before closing, to get it just starting the whole thing with your best foot forward. Then the news are a deal killer. People watch the news and they get afraid. They say the market is this, the market is that. Well, it is like watching the forecast, and then taking the average temperature for the whole United States of America. It is very different if you go out on your bicycle, let's say, in New York or in Houston, Texas, or in Florida or in California. You cannot just throw everything together. That is what the media is doing. They're talking about the real estate market overall. Our Houston market is super solid, super strong. We're selling for top dollar. We see on almost every offer listing that I have, we see a multiple offer situation. So don't watch the news when they're too broad, okay? And always watch the news knowing that they are after the sensation, they're after scaring everybody, because that is clickbait, you know? So don't fall for that. Get your information from multiple sources, and especially from a real estate agent that you trust. Hopefully that is me, and get some good advice. If your house will sell, if it will sell for how, what, in what kind of time frame. I just talked to a lady, she will switch to me. Her listing agreement is up by the end of the month, and she will actually switch to me. And her house is not selling. And her house is not selling for several months now. So that is really too bad, and there is a reason why. And I was embarrassed to share with her. I had 2 listings that went under contract yesterday. One was on the market 1 weekend and the other one 2 weekends. And for the one with 2 weekends, I was a little bit embarrassed because I didn't get it to execute the first time around, what means the first weekend. So this is how hot the market is here. Then they say point number 5, things that kill the deal is builder competition. Certain areas in America, we have an overflow in inventory, and after the builders did not talk even to agents the last 2-3 years, now they are begging us to sell their houses, and they're helping actually the buyer with great incentives. I just have seen a 50K discount in a new build home. My buyers got so lucky. Appraisal came back, confirmed the very same thing. So that is a third party price estimate. So they got Really, they got really a very good deal. Then they help with closing costs, often 5K, 10K, in this case 10K. And then there is help with down payment or such things, 5K. So these people, they just dipped in every bucket that you can dip. We do not have so much builder competition here in Houston. We basically build what we are selling. We don't have like overflow in a crazy amount, but the builders are very determined to sell. So they are giving good incentives and often buying down the rate. Very good for the buyers right now. Home sale contingency. We often see a whole chain of home sale contingencies. Not so much in my listings because I usually create a multiple offer situation and then we simply don't pick the offer with the contingency. But we do have a lot of buyers that are contingent on the sale of their current home. Oh, did you hear the thunder? So when you have a chain of contingency, it gets really funny when it is a whole chain. That buyer is buying a house and is contingent. That seller needs to sell to this person to be able to buy on the house that they're contingent on. And sometimes we have a chain and you don't know about how long the chain is as an agent if you don't ask for it, but maybe 5 or 10 transactions all in a row. And if one domino falls the wrong way, the whole chain falls apart because now all these sellers are not buyers anymore, etc., etc. You get the point. So a buyer competition is something what you try to avoid if you can help it, because you don't know if they will sell, and their sell might not even be contingent on how solid the buyer is with their financing, conventional, how much down, etc. If they need to sell to buy this one, it doesn't help. If that one falls apart, your deal falls apart as well. Interest rates rising, that is another thing that could kill the deal. Bank failures, the stock market, and layoffs. We are in a recession. Maybe you heard about it. So when people get laid off because companies are struggling, even big companies, they're laying off, then of course the deal can fall apart. A lot of people have a whole lot of money in stocks. So when stocks are down 50%, guess what? The buyer's money to close is gone. Maybe not so many qualify. In Houston market, we're actually quite good. We have a good amount of cash buyers, conventional buyers, and also FHA and VA buyers. And as long as they're solid, there's no reason to not move forward with them either. Yeah, and of course, if interest rates rises, let's say right now we're just around a 6%, if it would rise to a 8%, guess what? The buyer is probably not able to buy your house anymore, okay? Too much information is also a deal killer. People go, there are some, they trust us blind. Whatever we say or advise, the client goes with that. That is almost too trustworthy because we want our clients to use their understanding and make good educated decisions, but not trust us blind and just sign on the dotted line. We want them to understand what they're doing, and that's my job. But there are so many websites. First of all, there are so many homepages besides the AJR MLS, there is Realtor.com, Zillow, on all of these, and sometimes the information is incorrect there. So we just have an overkill on information, and sometimes people start procrastinating because they always think the next offer comes and maybe they're missing out on something, okay? Then we have low inventory in certain areas. For example, the Woodlands is a hot market. Whatever we throw on the market there, it just sells in like in a blink of an eye. Multiple offers, and then sometimes we have picky buyers. So if a buyer is overly picky, cannot make up their mind in a market of low inventory, what happens is not buyer's remorse, but not buyer's remorse. So they did not buy one of the first homes that they saw, and then later they say, do you remember that backyard, or do you remember that kitchen, or do you remember that 4-car garage? By the way, I have a 4-car garage coming up in Tombo. Stay posted for that one. So what they do is they mix and match the perfect house out of all the houses that they've seen. And guess what? We cannot like just take a magic wand and make them the house that they want. We have to buy what is on the market. And if we have two picky buyers, that can be a deal killer too. I do not have those. I have some buyers with a certain criteria, what they want and need. And I had some just recently, and they apologized. They kept apologizing for being complicated. I'm like, you're not complicated. You just know what you want. So that's good for me. As long as I know what you want, I can help you. But when we are overly picky and just want everything out of every bucket, of course, that's unrealistic. Okay, then we have indecisiveness, unrealistic expectations, and ghosting. I had 2 years ago a buyer. They were renters for the last, I feel like the last 300 years they have been renting, and now they wanted to dare to be homeowners. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm all game. How exciting. Let's stop burning our money in the fireplace for rent. Let's make you homeowners and at least pay off into your own pocket. The very first home that we saw was, I felt like the dream house, very good house. And they were like, yeah, but it's the first house, we cannot buy it. I'm like, why can you not? You're in love, the house is amazing, good condition, good location, interest rate was spectacular. I think interest rate was 3.5% or something. Like, you have to buy because you get paid for taking out a mortgage because it's less than inflation. But they decided it was the first and they cannot make a decision on the first. Then interest rate rose on them, you remember, went up 2 years ago already, slightly. Last year was really bad. And they ended up not buying. Then they ended up getting talked into a new home builder. They went there without me. And then while the house was built for 8 or 10 months, interest rate rose, kicked them out of the market. They were not able to finance anymore. They lost their funds that they had thrown toward the house because they went without their agent, and they didn't think of all of those things that we think about. That's my job, to think about and point that out. What happens if interest rate rises? Because 8 months is quite a while until the dream house is built. Guess who's still renting? Exactly. Yeah. So very sorry. So those are 10 things that can kill the deal. And I would say 10 out of 10 I can help you with that. Help you to be a successful buyer, not be a dreamer, not just see a lot of houses, but when you see one and you love it, how to get it for you. I have a very high ratio of getting my clients what they want. And sometimes and often that includes to be brutally honest. I would just share you in my German, sweet, sassy, direct way how you get a house. And honestly, most of my clients love that because they just know one-on-one what they are in for, how they get a house. And if they lose the house, I don't even have to say I told you, because they already know I told them and this is exactly what happens. And sometimes we play that 2-3 times and then the client knows when they listen and they are coachable, they will be successful faster without missing out on dream houses. Yeah. And everybody's a little bit different. Everybody has a different timeline. I'm willing to be slow. I'm willing to be fast, whatever is needed. Right now I have a lady in Sugar Land. She's like super heavy on the gas. We will probably get her a house very quickly. But everybody is different. Everybody has different needs. I had another one calling this morning. She needs to finalize her divorce and then she's probably ready in 2 or 4 weeks to purchase. Everything good. So she is the one that will sell and buy at the same time. That's a specialty too. And it seemed like she never heard about it. And I'm like, well, welcome to my world. That's my specialty, to not have you homeless and not have you move into a hotel or into an Airbnb for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or 2 months, 4 months, something like that. But in a snap, selling and buying at the same time, do a little lease back. You rent back your own house for charge or no charge, and we don't have you homeless. Doesn't that sound awesome? Okie dokie. Those were 10 killers of a deal and how to avoid them. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Stay dry and don't get